Thank you all that you are here in this class in exact time. And first time we will try to have a look to the course outlook. And I will touch in short about the topic, and then I will be discussing the question format that you know a bit, and then I will take questions if you have about this course, and also the semester final examinations. First of all, we all know that English is a language, and that language is used all over the world. And many people see this language in many ways. Many people perceive English language as the first language. Many people perceive English language as the second language. Many people consider English language as an international language. Many people consider as English as a foreign language. Our concern is in which way and why English language is used globally, and why the term is credited to English language, English as a global language. Uh, we know the definition of all languages. That means first language, second language, foreign languages, international language. But uh, in case of global language, there is no any definition, exact definition I can provide that English language or global language definition is like that. However, in this globe or in this world, we may assume that there are about more than 215 countries. And if we have a look that it is not possible to use one language all over the globe. I mean, it is not literally impossible to that one language will be used in these 215 countries. We see that in European countries, many languages are used. In African countries, many languages are used. In Asian countries as well, we see many languages are used. Even in Australia and other continents, we will see the same scenario that one language can't dominate. So we can see that in Latin American countries, Spanish is dominant in language. In case of European countries, Italian, German, French, Bulgarian, Hungarian, these languages are the dominant language. But if we think in case of Asian countries, we don't see any dominant language. However, we see a common language for communication. That common language is used in Asia continent, in African continent, and in American continent as well, and Latin American countries as well. So for the communication purpose, if a language is used in maximum countries, uh, that is called a global language. Why global language? Because all over the globe, a person may not be uh, ex, expert, may not be an experienced person knowing all languages, because we know that all over the world, nearly 3,500 allied languages at present. So it is not possible for a person to communicate or learn in 3,500 languages. But for the cause of the globalization, many reasons people visit the neighboring countries, the neighboring continent as well. So in this regard, he or she has to communicate in a language, and that language should be a language. Sorry, allow me 2 minutes. Okay. We've been pointing the position of why global language is used and what is the definition of global. So I had been talking that it is not possible for a person to learn all the languages of the world. So, and for this reason, our language is necessary for communication. And in this regard, for several reasons, you know the reason. I'm not going to tell the details. That is, for several reasons, English language is used as a common language for communication that can be termed as the common lingua franca, means common language for communication. And in maximum countries, English language is used for communication, and that is the global language. And there is a question, that is there a necessity? So in my initial speech, I have declared that yes, a language is necessary for international communication, because for many reasons, people nowadays are visiting their surrounding countries all over the world for tourism, business, higher education, immigration purposes, and many other reasons as well. Of course, a language is necessary. And why English language has become the global language? We know that there are several reasons of making a language global. Basically, the power of a country, and this power can be divided in economic power, political power, and cultural power. So in these three criteria, English language got prominence, because in case of power, English speaking country, especially the Britain, uh, they had a colony all over the world. And next time they had a highly educated civilization, and their civilization, when they established their colony somewhere else in this world, they had a thinking that they will be introducing their language, and in such a way that if a person is chained by a chain, that chain might be broken. But if a person is chained by affection or cultural or by language, that chain cannot be eradicated. So very meticulously, very foresightedly, English-speaking people, the Britons, they established their colony, they left their colony. However, they pinpointed, they pushed their language and culture in such a way that English language was accepted culture. Next time we saw that the English political power was declined, English economic power was declined. But the matter is that the way they introduced English language in their colonies all over the world, the person living in the colonies, living in those previous colonies, they couldn't discard English language for several reasons. That is the cultural reason. And even for the cause of other field, that is higher education, that is for immigration purpose, that is for science and technology, that is for international organization, that is for international sporting organization. All of the international body, they formed with the combination of the major English-speaking countries like America or Britain. And for this reason, we people, we can easily discuss to speak in a country or in Bangladesh, but we can't use our Bangla language in several international body. So very meticulously, English-speaking people, I mean the Britons and America, they established the organization, and we are in a way of accepting English language for the communication. We have nothing else and nothing other language to communicate this way. So in this way, English language became the global language. And uh, and they established their language and culture as well. But the question is that uh, mm, if a language becomes a global language, That is the scenario of English language. What will happen next? That it will be granted that English language once become a global language, and it will be the global language all over until the demise of the civilization of this world. That is, there is no guarantee at this point. So in this regard, if a country uh, if a country changes its attitude or her attitude to not to use English language, uh, that is the scenario. But the matter is that the large populated country, I mean America, India, uh, China, if they try to discard or avoid English language, then English language will, the future of English language will have a problem. In this regard, some language should come forward. So that is the scenario. But uh, keeping this logic in mind, that is, if Chinese language gets dominant all over the world in the next 50 years, what would be the scenario? Uh, in this regard, uh, China may be the global language next time. But the matter is that if we want to learn Chinese language, it's a bit tough language. So um, English language, the alphabet, and rather it should say it's not English language, it's actually Latin language, a Roman language, Roman alphabet they use. So this language is easy. So that is the one challenge, that Chinese language will not be the global language. And another way, uh, Braz Khosrow, he has given a model. You know the model, that is first circle, that means English speaking countries, inner circle, outer circle, the countries where English language is the second language, like Singapore, Malaysia, India, and extended circle, that means in the countries in which English language is used as a foreign language or uh, international language. So Braz Khastrow's model proves that if a countries like China, Brazil, African countries try to discard English language, the problem will not be the more for the status of global language. Why? Because the people living in African, Asian, or some other countries, they use English language or as a foreign language or international language. But the population growth rate of these countries is larger than the countries uh, of European countries. That means English-speaking countries, European countries, and even more than the Chinese birth rate as well. So the ratio, that means English-speaking people who use English language as a foreign language or international language, their number will be increased in a larger ratio in comparison to the first language user of English language. So if a country is not ready to use English language, however, other countries, that means the Asian and the African countries, they use English language as a second or as foreign or international language. For the cause of their growth rate, this English will be used by many people rather than the people who want to change their mind not to use English language. And another point is that um, if English language is used, if English language is used, a larger number of people who use it as the foreign language or international language, that will change the pronunciation pattern of English. That will change the structure and vocabulary as well also English language. And We know the term that the vocabulary of a language is enriched by several sources. It's about all languages all over the world. So that will change the pronunciation pattern, structure pattern, vocabulary, and the mode of speaking, intonation, everything will be changed. But that only English will not be the standard English, but English language will be the global language uh, until some other uh, analysis or some other point will come in our hand. Up to this point, that English language has become the global language, and without any massive change, it would be the global language for the successive years. And that is the brief speech from my side. And one thing I left, that is the origin of several languages. And I touched a little bit that the English-speaking country all over is spread all over the world, and they pushed their language in their colonies, and in this way, English language is spread all over the countries. And this is the scenario of American English. This is the scenario of Canadian English. This is the scenario of New Zealand English, and also Asian English as well. In case of Bangladesh, how we people live in Indian subcontinent got acquaintance to English language, we know that is the British East India Company established their trading post in four places of India: Gujarat, Calcutta, and some other places, two places. So from that perspective, at that time, Bangladesh was included in Indian subcontinent, and for this reason, through the colonies or through East India Company, run by the British business company at the time, English language is spread in Bangladesh, and we got acquaintance in English language. And at the time of political power or political dominance by the British East India Company in Indian subcontinent, we Bangladeshi people got acquaintance to English language. And from that time onwards, we are using English language. And next time, after getting independence from the British government, and next time after getting independence for Pakistani government, Bangladesh is still using English language as an international language or as a foreign language, but with a special emphasis on English language. And for this reason, we see that English language learning is compulsory in SSC and HSC level. And so the status of English in Bangladesh is not a second language. It is, you can call, a foreign language with much attention, an international language with much attention, because English is a foreign language, Spanish is a foreign language, French is a foreign language for Bangladesh. But in case of English, we give more importance in English language, as it has become, English language has become the global language. So thank you very much from my side. Thank you very much for your patience hearing. And I will be